GitHub Actions Runner, Images, Table of Contents, About Available Images, Announcements, Image Definitions, Image Releases, Software and Image Support. How to interact with the repo FAQs. About this repository contains the source code used to create the VM images for GitHub-hosted runners used for Actions, as well as for Microsoft-hosted agents used for Azure pipelines. To build a VM machine from this repo's source, see the instructions. Available images, image, YAML, label included, software rollout status of latest image release. Ubuntu 24.04 beta, Ubuntu-24.04, Ubuntu 24.04, Ubuntu 22.04, Ubuntu latest, or Ubuntu 24.04, Ubuntu 22.04, Ubuntu 20.04, Ubuntu 20.04, Ubuntu 20.4, macOS 14, macOS latest-large or macOS 14-large, macOS 14, macOS 14, ARM64, macOS latest, macOS 14, macOS latest X-large, or macOS 14 X-large, macOS 14 ARM64, macOS 13 or macOS 13 or macOS 13 large, macOS 13 ARM64, macOS 13 X-large, macOS 64, macOS 12 macOS 12 or macOS 12 large, macOS 12, Windows Server 2022, Windows-latest, or Windows 2022, Windows 2022, Windows Server 2092, Windows 29, Windows 2019, label scheme. In general, the latest label is used. For the latest OS image version that is GAB, before moving the latest label to a new OS version, we will announce the change and give sufficient lead time for users to update their workflows. Announcements: see notable upcoming changes by viewing issues with the announcement label. Image definitions beta. The purpose of a beta is to collect feedback on an image before it is released to GA. The goal of a beta is to identify and fix any potential issues that exist on that image. Images are updated on a weekly cadence. Any workflows that run on a beta image do not fall under the customer SLA in place for Actions. Customers choosing to use beta images are encouraged to provide feedback in the runner images repo by creating an issue. A beta may take on different availability, i.e. public versus private. GA general availability image has been through a beta period and is deemed ready for general use. Images are updated on a weekly cadence. In order to be moved to GA, the image must meet the following criteria: has been through a beta period, public or private. Most major software we install on the image has a compatible version for the underlying OS, and all major bugs reported during the beta period have been addressed. This image type falls under the customer SLA for Actions. GA images are eventually deprecated according to our guidelines, as we only support the latest 2 versions of an OS. Latest migration process. GitHub Actions and Azure DevOps use the -latest YAML label, X, Ubuntu latest, Windows latest, and macOS latest. These labels point towards the newest stable OS version available. The -latest migration process is gradual and happens over 1 to 2 months in order to allow customers to adapt their workflows to the newest OS version. During this process, any workflow using the latest label may see changes in the OS version in their workflows or pipelines. To avoid unwanted migration, users can specify a specific OS version in the YAML file, X, macOS-12, Windows 2022, Ubuntu 22.04. Image releases. How to best follow along with changes. Find the latest releases for this repository here. Subscribe to the releases coming out of this repository. Instructions here. Upcoming changes. A pre-release is created when the deployment of an image has started. As soon as the deployment is finished, the pre-release is converted to a release. If you have subscribed to releases, you will get notified of pre-releases as well. You can also track upcoming changes using the awaiting deployment label. For high-impact changes, we will post these in advance to the GitHub changelog on our blog and on Twitter. X. Breaking changes, GA, or deprecation of images. Cadence: we typically deploy weekly updates to the software on the runner images. Software and image support. Support policy, tools, and versions will typical